This Sunday in Cincinnati, it is simple. Win one for David Montgomery.
You are Locked On Lions, your daily Detroit Lions podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's good, everybody? Matt Dery with you. It is a Wednesday edition of Locked On Lions on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today is Wednesday, October the 1st. We are into October, into Thursday, October 2nd. Thanks for making us your first listen, checking us out wherever you get your podcast tomorrow. James Rapine, host of Locked On Bengals. Yes, the Bengals that have been just absolutely blitzed the last 2 weeks have scored one meaningless touchdown in the last 2 games, 13 points total, hosting the Lions in Cincinnati at Paycor at 4:25 on Fox. We'll talk to James for the Thursday crossover tomorrow. Today's show brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Follow us on all social media platforms. That includes Locked On Lions on TikTok, Locked On Lions on Instagram, Locked On Lions on Facebook. Wherever you want to find us, we are there. Thank you to our everydayers that are out there that watch and listen to the podcast daily. Probably need to do a list of everydayers like Friday and shout a bunch of you out. So we'll probably do that later on in this week. We do have a call of the day later in the show. If you want to be our call of the day, leave us a voicemail at speakpipe.com, speakpipe.com/Dery, D-E-R-Y, podcast page. We got some DJ Reed news. He is going on the injured list. Bunch of roster moves we got to get into. The offensive line is having a fantastic last 3 games. We will explain coming up. I promised you a quick note on Ben Johnson, which I will get to. But first, I want to start with this. And I want to preface this commentary coming up with, I'm not talking about politics. I'm not talking about left, right, anything. I want to make a point. Right now, with what is going on, whichever side you're on, and again, I'm not talking politics. I just want to make a point about the world we are in now. Feel-good stories are at a minimum. They just are. All right? It's reality. This Sunday, as we watch football and we root on our favorite team, and we only get 17, hopefully more than 17, opportunities to watch our Detroit Lions play, it brings us joy. Every Sunday or Monday night or whatever, Sunday night, Thursday night, whenever the Lions play, it's joyful. It's a 3-hour escape from what's out there and reality of life and everything else and how difficult a lot of times have been. All right. And what's going to happen this weekend is something really, really cool. And for a lot of you that love David Montgomery, one of our everyday listeners, Joseph Allen, he loves David Montgomery. All right. David Montgomery is everything that is right about professional football. He's got a great attitude. He's a great teammate. He's tough. He plays through injuries. His teammates love him. He's a good football player. He's a good person. He gives back to the community, all this stuff. And he's got an event coming up in November I'm going to tell you guys about that I might get involved with. There's a lot going on with David Montgomery. This is a guy who signed with the Lions not once but twice. He's had 2 contracts with this team. And his playing time's been diminished because Jahmyr Gibbs is so good. And the Lions, I think, when they signed Montgomery, didn't realize how good Gibbs would be. But hey, both of them can play. Both of them can be out there at the same time. Sometimes Montgomery's getting carries, sometimes Gibbs getting carries, but they cheer each other on. The Sonic and Knuckles nickname is cool, and they're great friends. This Sunday, David Montgomery is going home to Cincinnati. He has never, ever played a game in his hometown. He's played in over 90 regular season games. He's been in the league over 6 years. First, 3 years with the Bears, last 3 years with the Lions. He has been a tremendous football player and running back in this league, but he's never gotten a chance to go home. And this was a guy who grew up in Cincinnati. Wasn't recruited by the Bearcats at all, the UC Bearcats. Went to Iowa State instead, but has never gotten the chance to play at home in front of his friends and family. He's going to get that chance this weekend as the Lions are going to play the Bengals. He never played there in Chicago when he was with the Bears. He has not played there as a Lion either. Then you throw in the following story. If you saw David Montgomery's interview with Kay Adams on Up and Adams the other day, I can just give you the short story. Basically, Kay Adams asked him about going back to Cincinnati, and Montgomery said this will be the first time his sister is able to see him in person play a game. And the reason why she hasn't come to Detroit and hasn't traveled is because over a year ago, she got into a very, very bad car accident and is paralyzed from the neck down. She's in a wheelchair. She needs a lot of assistance. And this Sunday at 4:25, she is going to get to, for the first time as a pro player, as being in the NFL, a chance to witness him in person playing a game. That tugs at your heartstrings. It does. That is a cool, cool thing. And we spend so much time ripping people and being negative and talking about this guy sucks and that guy sucks. And the environment is so negative everywhere right now. And this is what sports is about. This is why we gravitate toward these athletes. Not all of them are great guys or girls. You know, I saw some clip the other day of a WNBA player going off on the commissioner. And there's a lot going, but sports is supposed to be that escape where, man, it's a cool story. You know, it's something special. Over the weekend, I had the opportunity, and I'm not going to break down Tigers Guardians on this show. I'm not going there. You guys know my allegiances are. I grew up in Cleveland. My favorite team are the Indians / Guardians. It's been that way since I was for 52 years. Okay. And you guys respect that. And I respect Tiger fans. But I got to spend this weekend. I got to go to Progressive Field. I was at Saturday's game. I was at Sunday's game. Yeah, I went yesterday too for game 1 and saw Scooble just dominate. He's amazing. But I got to spend time with my wife. She came with me to my favorite place. Progressive Field's my favorite place. Just like Ford Field for a lot of you is your favorite place. And then I went Sunday with my brother and we watched us clinch the division and saw the Rugiet walk-off homer against the Rangers. And just, that's why we love sports. It's why it's such a great escape. It's the best thing out there. You know, you scroll on your phone and you just see all this garbage and crap and negativity and this. And this weekend, David Montgomery's sister, who cannot move, paralyzed from the neck down, is going to get to see her brother play. I love that stuff. It hits me. I love it. And I want him to do so well and like score a touchdown or the game ball or wave to her. I'm dying for it because it's just, that's the beauty of the game. You know, when the Lions, I'm getting emotional. When the Lions played the Rams in that preseason game, I've never seen a stadium like that. And I've been to so many sporting events. I was at the Palace when the Pistons won the championship in 2004. I was at the Joe in the building in 97. I saw the tears. That was crazy insanity. And wow, Eiserman raising the cup, not a dry in the house. All right. But there was something about the Lions winning a playoff game at home against the Rams a couple of years ago. I just was looking at the faces of the people and the joy it brings. That's why we love sports. And you've got to root for, I'm rooting so hard for David Montgomery to score a touchdown this Sunday. That's like, yes, you want him to win. The most important thing is they win, but I'm dying for it. I want him to score a touchdown. He just seems like such a great guy. He went back to Iowa State this summer and walked across that stage and got his degree because he left school early to go play football in the NFL. Like, man, if you're not rooting for David Montgomery this weekend, and hopefully they show his sister in the crowd and on the cameras at some point on Fox on the broadcast, because it's just a cool story. So I'm rooting for it. I'm rooting for a Lions win. I think they're going to win. I think the Bengals suck. I think they're terrible. And I think that if David Montgomery can somehow get a touchdown and maybe after the game, bring his sister that game ball, that touchdown ball, that's, I don't know. We love sports for so many reasons, but that is just a big one. So I wanted to dedicate some time to it today. Maybe I went off on a weird tangent. Maybe you loved it, but that's what it's about. It also helps that the Lions are a good team. They're a good team. They won 3 in a row. I think it's going to be 4. And we'll talk to more about the Bengals tomorrow with James Rapine. I got to call out Ben Johnson for something. We will do that coming up next. DJ Reed's now on IR, so he's going to miss 4 games at least, and won't be back until the earliest, the Commanders game in Washington. We'll get to some of that as well coming up next. And Locked On Lions today brought to you by our friends at Mazda. Mazda crafts cars for those who do more than simply move, all right? Mazda delivers confidence with every ride, with more IIHS top safety pick awards than anyone else. You can feel Japanese craftsmanship in every detail, from the metallic accents to available Napa leather upholstery. With all-wheel drive standard on every crossover SUV, you can drive with confidence through almost any season. You make everyday drives with Mazda feel like anything but, from smooth handling to intuitive controls. Like the players, we sweat every detail, because when you make every move count, impossible does become irrelevant. Becomes irrelevant. Mazda, move and be moved. Matt Dery back with you on a Wednesday edition of Locked On Lions, Locked On Podcast Network. Tomorrow, crossover Thursday with James Rapine, the host of Locked On Bengals. Detroit heading to Cincinnati. Bengals, of course, have lost 2 in a row. They've been without Joe Burrow, and they've been outscored, 76-13 the last 2 weeks. They just have gotten waxed by Minnesota on the road, and then this past Sunday in Denver, or past Monday night in Denver against the Broncos. And by the way, let me say this. I think the Broncos are going to beat the Eagles this Sunday. I know nothing about inside stuff. I don't know what the point spread is. I believe the game is Sunday. I like Denver against Philly. I think Philly's going to lose. I just have a weird feeling. Could be wrong. I think the Broncos are dangerous. Real fast, before I get to the DJ Reed news, I referenced it yesterday. Ben Johnson at halftime on Sunday in Vegas against the Bears-Raiders, kind of went off a little bit on a Dede Kinkadwala, the sideline reporter, who asked Ben a question about the offense struggling. He thought she was saying your offense is struggling, and he kind of was pissy with her. You've seen the interview all over the internet, I'm sure. And I thought it was classless of Ben Johnson to talk to her like that. The next day at his Monday press conference, Ben Johnson did say he misheard her. It was loud in there. He thought she was making more of a statement than a question. He's deep into the game, and he is in coach mode. He didn't really apologize or say he was sorry. He just said, I've got to be better in those situations. Ben Johnson did unbelievable work here in Detroit. He's the best offensive coordinator in Lions history. All right, he is. And what the work that he did was spectacular in helping transform this offense. But I'm telling you, the more I watch this guy, the more I see the speeches in the locker room, the more I watch him with reporters, he has done a complete heel turn, like a 180 heel turn, and has turned into like a bad guy. He was such a nice guy here. He was so harmless as the OC. He came up with the Stumble Bum play, and then my friends at Stumble Bum Beer Company in Troy, they got him a hat, and he wore the hat. He could not have been nicer. But what has happened to this guy? I with the Bears? I get it. You have a big ego. You want to wait for the right head coaching opportunity. Now you're a head coach. But I can see why now. A lot of the Lion defenders, including Brian Branch, who said he took it personally when Ben Johnson left for Chicago, I could see why a lot of the Lion defenders wanted to shove it up as you know what in week 2. I could just see it. I don't care if she's a female reporter, male reporter, don't treat people like that. And then the next day to go, he should have said, you know what? I'm going to give Dede a call. I'll get her number from PR. I want to personally apologize. I was not. No, he just sort of said, I need to be better in those situations. Like, pick up the phone and call. Apologize. You were acting like a jerk and almost embarrassed her. So let me get that off my chest. News of the day is that the Lions have, and this is not a big surprise, placed DJ Reed, the cornerback, on injured reserve. So DJ Reed has gone on IR. And just as I was about to read my notes that I had, I, of course, lost the page. Hang on. I've got it right here. All right. So DJ Reed has been placed on injured reserve. He will have to miss at least 4 weeks with that hamstring injury. So who are the Lions going to sign, and what are they going to do with some short-staffed at cornerback? Now, Terrion Arnold did practice today. Bad shoulder and all. A surprise a little bit that Arnold practiced today. I'm not telling you he's definitely going to play in the game on Sunday. We thought maybe he'd miss a game, but Arnold was out there on a Wednesday practice, so that's a good sign. Lauren Strickland, who's played safety and a little bit of cornerback, has been elevated today from the practice squad to the 53-man roster. Nick Whiteside, who we referenced, that was in training camp in the preseason with the Lions, local kid, he's now on the practice squad. That's a corner. The Lions also yesterday late signed former Seahawks, Colts. This guy's been on like every team in the league. Cornerback Trey Flowers has also been signed to the practice squad. So yes, another Trey Flowers, but this is TRE Flowers, has also been signed to the practice squad. So the Lions have added some depth to go along with Khalil Dorsey, Rock Yassin, Avonte Maddox, who are all kind of backups, and now Lauren Strickland is on that 53-man roster. Also, Ty Summers, who was on the practice squad, linebacker, and spent time with the Giants last year, played a little bit with the Lions in the preseason this year. He's also been added to the 53-man roster. That could be just sort of some protection for Zach Cunningham, who has missed the last couple of games, or missed the last game due to injury. So, look, and I haven't talked about this enough, and we'll do it tomorrow with James Rapine, but the Lions need DJ Reed healthy. He's not going to be, all right? So next man up, it could be Amik Robertson and Khalil Dorsey. It could be Terrion Arnold with a bad shoulder, but regardless, this week, Jamar Chase is out for blood. He is angry. Not at the Lions. Jamar Chase wants touches. Jamar Chase wants to go off. Jamar Chase wants the ball. He hasn't gotten the ball in 3 weeks. It has been a struggle the first really 4 weeks for Jamar Chase in putting up numbers. Then you throw T. Higgins in the mix. The Bengals are going to want to get their guys on the outside going. And now no DJ Reed, certainly a little bit of an issue, but can the Bengals block Aiden Hutchinson? It's the biggest question. We could sit here all day and talk about Jake Browning and playing for the injured Joe Burrow and Chase and Higgins and everybody else. Chase Brown out of the backfield is a very good pass catcher. But if they don't block Aiden Hutchinson and Al-Qadim Muhammad and the guys up front, DJ Reader going back to Cincy, you know he's going to want to show the Bengals up. It could be a long day for Cincinnati. But I'm interested in watching Khalil Dorsey if he gets a lot of snaps, how he's going to do this week, because there are times that I'm comfortable with him. But this would be probably the most time he is going to get. But if anything were to happen to any of those guys, Rock Yassin off the bench, Khalil Dorsey, Avonte Maddox, a guy like Lauren Strickland, who has been in the system now for 2 years, is going to get an opportunity. How about this one? And I didn't really realize this until today. And this is not some big stat here, but it's just kind of cool. The Lions have offensive line has not allowed a sack, not allowed one sack since week 1. Not one sack since week 1. They faced Baltimore. They faced Chicago. It's got some good players, Montez Sweat. And this past week, Myles Garrett, best edge rusher in the league, arguably the best defensive player in the league. And they've kept Jared Goff clean. I've got to say, whether PFF graded Taylor Decker out poorly last week or not, the guys up front are getting the job done. We have talked about it for ad nauseum here since Jared Goff has been the quarterback for 5 years now. If you don't keep Jared Goff clean, you're not going to win. He's not the type to do things with his legs, scramble, get outside the pocket, dance around. That's just not what Jared Goff does. So for this Lions offensive line to hold steady, you talk about 3 guys in the middle that are did not play in those positions last year. Christian Mahogany started 1 or 2 games. Tate Ratledge was in college. Graham Glasgow was playing guard. Now having to play center. You've got the best right tackle in the world in Penei Sewell. We know that. And Taylor Decker's been, not practicing for weeks due to a shoulder injury. Yet on Sundays, all he does is keep his quarterback clean. It is a key to everything. We're going to see this weekend with the Bengals and how their O-line just is, they've never been able to build one. There are certain teams that the offensive line for the last handful of years, it's just been a crap show. The Bears, the Giants, the Bengals, the Jets, right? O-line is just always an issue, but not here. Not here at all. All right, let's get a little call of the day in the mix here. We'll do that coming up next, right here on a Wednesday edition of Locked On Lions. And we are brought to you today by our friends at Monarch Money. Most people can't name all their financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's 401ks, properties, or investments. And when you don't have the full picture, you can end up leaving money on the table. That's why there is Monarch Money. It's an all-in one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or on your phone. Monarch does the heavy lifting for you. You can link all your accounts in minutes, see clear data visuals, get smart categorization of your spending, and finally feel in control of your money without ever touching a spreadsheet. All right. I got friends that linked all their accounts to Monarch and immediately spotted a few subscriptions they forgot they had. They weren't even using. Canceling those alone saved them tons of money every month. Don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONNFL at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code LOCKEDONNFL. Don't forget, we will be with you on Sunday. We will have a Sunday Locked On Lions show. Lions Squad show will also be available live wherever you get your podcast on the Locked On Sports Detroit page on YouTube with Jake Riepma, Natalie Kerwin, and the great Bradford Banta. They're on live. We're on. I'll probably record an hour and a half after the game once I hear the press conferences and everything else. So you get a lot of action here on the Locked On Lions page. We appreciate all of you for listening, making us your first listen, and checking us out wherever you get your podcast. And please, if you haven't subscribed to Locked On Lions on YouTube, please do that as well. All right. So here's the deal, everybody. We haven't heard from our listeners yet this week. It is time that we do a call of the day. If you want to be our call of the day, it is simple. You leave us a voicemail at speakpipe.com/Dery, Dery podcast page. That is speakpipe.com/Dery podcast page. Today, we head down to the state of Florida for today's call of the day. Let's take a listen.
Hey, Matt. This is Brian calling from Northport, Florida. Everyday listener, lifetime Lions fan. My brother moved to Cincinnati and bought me tickets for this weekend to see our Honolulu Blue and Silver Leos take on the Bengals. Since you are an Ohio person, my question to you is, have you interacted with Bengal fans before? And what is their fan base like? What should I be walking into when I'm wearing my number 97 Aiden Hutchinson jersey? And my second question is, how many sacks do you think number 97 will have this weekend against that awful offensive line? I would love to hear your opinion, Matt. Go Lions.
All right. Thank you, sir. Our friends down in Northport, Florida. All right. So he's going up to the game this weekend in Cincinnati, and he says, you're an Ohio guy, so I should know about Bengals fans. First and foremost, I have never been to either Riverfront Stadium, where the Bengals used to play, or their new stadium, Paycor, which has been different name before. I spent a little bit of time in Cincinnati. I'll tell you this about my time in Cincinnati. Number one, I went to a Reds game with my daughter a couple of summers ago, and they love baseball there. They love their Reds. They are very knowledgeable about baseball. That's number one. Number two, do not go to Gold Rush, or is it Gold Rush? Skyline Chili, or the other one, Gold, whatever. They're both horrible. All right. Google best chili in Cincinnati and go there, but don't go to like Gold Star or Skyline. It's garbage. but they are known for their chili. The voice of the Bengals, Dan Hort, is a good friend of mine. I'm actually going to go on his and Dave Lapham's Bengals radio show tonight. But let me tell you something about going to Cincinnati and wearing your Lions gear. I think you're going to be okay. I don't want to jinx it. Bengal fans right now are very defeated and very angry. They're angry how their organization handled the Trey Hendrickson stuff. They're angry with ownership, how they handled Shamar Stewart's contract earlier this year. Remember, he held out because there were like a couple of small bonuses that they wouldn't give him. He was like a holdout. He's the only first-round pick that had to sit and wait. They are angry at ownership. Remember how angry this fan base was with the Fords during Millen and also partly during Quinn Trisha? That's how they feel about Mike Brown. So I think if you go to Cincinnati and be in your wear your Aiden Hutchinson jersey, Adam, I think you're going to be just fine. I do not think there's going to be any issues there. There's going to be a crap ton of Lion fans there. There's going to be a lot. Bengals started off 2-0, but remember, they barely beat the Browns in week 1 and didn't deserve to win that game. All right, if Andre Schmidt hits an extra point, that game goes to overtime. They snuck by Jacksonville in week 2, and then the last 2 weeks, they have looked god-awful. This was a team recently in the Super Bowl. And look, their fans are good. They're into it from what I know, but I think that they're very defeated right now in Cincinnati. So I think you wearing your jersey, I don't think you'll have an issue. And I think based on the fact that it's drivable to go from Detroit to Cincinnati this weekend, I think there are going to be a lot of Lion fans in the building for Lions Bengals. We'll get more of a deep dive tomorrow with Locked On Bengals host James Rapine on our Locked On crossover. We will do that tomorrow right here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Thanks, everybody, for making us your first listen and checking us out wherever you get your podcasts. Locked On Lions. Tell your friends. If you got Lion fan friends that don't know about us, tell them to check us out. We appreciate all of our new listeners and, of course, our everydayers.